think the ultimate example of your skin in the game is the run across Texas, 850 miles, 35 miles a day over 2 weeks, literally running from West Coast all the way through the state. How did that come to be? And I'd love to just tell the listeners about that.
Yeah. Just another like shitty idea. That's how it came to be.
Yeah.
I went to Squatch. Like I still remember the exact spot that I was at. Like I was at Squatch, and I don't know what happened. Like I don't know. Like I always tell that story, like, because I found David Goggins, and that's how I got into running. And I'm like, I don't even remember how I stumbled upon the book, right? But like for me, like I don't remember, but I do remember sitting in and I posted this yesterday on my story. You probably saw it, the text to Bobby Daughtry.
Yes.
And I was sitting in my truck, and it popped in my head, and I texted Bobby, and then I immediately texted Drew Darby, who's he's one of my best friends here in Austin. And I was like, I want to run across Texas. And in that moment, I didn't think that anyone had done it. And that was kind of, intriguing to me. And I texted Bobby, and Bobby was like, you're a nightmare, but hell yeah. And then Drew was like, dude, that sounds cool. It's been done. And I'm like, shit, so that's how it came. It was really just, it popped in my head. And, over the last year, because it was, a year ago yesterday, it's been 366 days now. So much more has come of it. So much more clarity about why the idea came to my head, why, it's going to happen. But yeah, it was a simple idea that was once again just acted upon immediately. I love to act on things and then figure it out later. I'm very much like a shoot first and we'll ask questions later, which is good and bad at the same time.
Yeah.
What's come to you for clarity in terms of just like why you want to go after something like this?
Yeah. So the why has changed. I actually talked about this on a podcast yesterday. The why has changed so many times. And I feel like your why in life can just change by the day, right?
It'll probably change while you're on the road.
100%. Yeah, because the question I got was like, why? And I'm like, you should ask me when I'm done. And, so the why originally, was because I was like, I want to push myself. And then the why turned into, well, if I'm going to do something like this, then, how can I use my platform to boost it? And then it was like, okay, now that I have this platform, how can I use this platform for good while I do it? And then, it also turned into, something that I think in my entire, especially in the last 4 months leading up, where I have built my faith through this run and through things that have happened and, trial and error that I have never in my life been closer to God than I am now. And I believe that I fully have an open door access to God through my faith. I've never felt closer and, more confident through all of these trials and errors than I ever have in my entire life. But I think, this is how it came, but the why is so unclear.
What is the level of pressure that you feel right now? Because at the time of recording this, we're about 3 weeks out. So I think by the time this is released, you'll either have just started the race, maybe a little bit before, a little bit after. But by the time the listener is viewing this, you'll probably be in the midst of the race. What is the pressure like 3 weeks out? Or do you not perceive that as pressure?
No, I don't feel any pressure. And this is something that I've spoke on before, and this is a no bullshit answer. I never hit the start line, and I'm never nervous. I never question, because I always know that whatever is meant to be is meant to be. And for some reason I can, a lot of people can't grasp that. And for me, I know I can. I feel like it really took a lot of pressure off by, not trying to set the record. And, the fastest time across Texas is 18 days. Originally I just originally set the mileage at 50 a day, and that turned into being 17 days, but it's never been about that. And here's the thing, it can't be about that because I'm not running the route that was ran. I can't take that record because our mileage is actually less, and he ran to the Louisiana border. We're running to Galveston. So I wanted it to make, by taking pressure off myself, I made it my own. And, no one's ever came through Austin during the, 4 or 5 people have done it. No one's ever came through Austin. It's been through Waco or San Antonio, and no one's went to Galveston. And so I feel like, I did as much as I could to remove that type of pressure. I think about Paul Johnson last year, who was raising money for RWB this year in the spring, and it was all about the record. And, it was I'm going to set the record for the fastest time across the United States. And I feel like that just adds so much pressure that, you know, I love the saying that if you don't have expectations, you can't be like, you won't ever be disappointed. So if you don't have expectations, you're not going to have any disappointment. And my expectation, the only expectation I have is that we're going to move across Texas. And whether that takes, you know, 17 days at 50 miles a day, or whether that takes 30 days at 28 miles a day, we're going to move across Texas.
One of the things I love about your content is that you always have fun. Like, it's I was telling this to Ned before we hit the podcast, hit record, that you somehow blend together inspiration, but then also just like, you know, having fun and entertaining people. And I feel like bringing that into something as crazy as running across the state of Texas is really huge, because if you put too much pressure on yourself, like, you're going to be on mile 400 and just be like your own mental pressure will just break you. Whereas like, if you're just enjoying the ride, like, you'll get there.
Yeah. Like, and that's a big thing. You know, that what you said about the Instagram and the platform is, you know, that came from Matt Choi, where Matt Choi and I had a conversation last September, and it was like, you know, in order to be good on social media, you have to learn how to tell a story. And for me, it was like, I think all of these creators and, you know, influencers and people with followings, they just double down on, like, you know, what got me here, right? Which is great, but it's like, it's just repetitive. It's the same thing over and over and over and over and over. And for me, like, even in this lead up to the run across Texas, is like, you know, I've been doing these countdowns, like 100 days out, 50 days out, 30 days out. But in between all these videos, like, I'm still doing the crazy shit that I'm doing, and, you know, my behind the 7-Eleven talks, and, you know, ads here and there and all that type of stuff. But like, I don't want to, you know, I want to use this platform to be able to, like, I want people to see that, you know, you can be an elite level athlete and still be a normal person. You can still throw a Zin in, you can still have a glass of whiskey, you can still smoke a cigar, smoke a cigarette. Like, you know, I mean, it's just, I feel like everyone gets so complicated and, you know, into fitness that, like, they lose the fact of, like, this is your life. Like, like, you can still enjoy things in life. And if you don't enjoy any of the things I said, that's perfectly fine too. But like, you know, I'm still going to show the things that I enjoy. I'm not going to hide it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting where, like, the mileage in the endurance pursuits that you tackle are in some ways maybe like unapproachable to the average person, but who you are as a person is extremely approachable. Like, I feel like you just don't take yourself too seriously at all. And you're also very unfiltered. So I think people feel like they actually know you, and the way you are off camera is exactly how you are on camera too. And it's very rare to meet people like that.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I was talking with a friend the other day that, like, he was talking about YouTube, and he's like, yeah, man, like, when the camera turns on, he's like, I'm a completely different person. And like, I understood what he was saying, but also at the same time, I was like, you know, it kind of hit me where I'm like, that's not the same then, you know, like, and yeah, I mean, for me, it's like, you know, I'm just showing like I'm just a Midwest boy who, you know, I hit gravel roads at 16 and we were stealing beers out of, you know, our neighbor's garage fridge. And, you know, that I'm just doing the thing, and I'm not going to change who I am in that entire process. And, you know, I'm still going to show people, like I said, like that they can do it, but you can also do it and just be a normal freaking person.